Hello, and welcome to another episode of Adamo Baseball, where I'm your host, Adamo. And in this episode, I'm going to be breaking down the 1906 World Series, which this one has definitely got a lot of interesting information. For instance, this was the first World Series where a double steal occurred. Not only did that double steal happen in Game 5, and when you look at the final score, yeah, it mattered. Patsy Dougherty, who was the first player to win 2 World Series, by the way, he stole second base, only this was a double steal, not a regular steal. George Davis, he stole home plate. I actually looked it up. Only 13 times in Major League Baseball history has home plate been stolen in the World Series itself. And 8 of those successes were double steals. So, yeah, George Davis stole home plate, and he was the first man to successfully steal home plate in the World Series. It has happened other times. The last time it happened successfully, as in a man just ran out and just did it, you'd think it'd be Ricky Henderson, but no, he never succeeded at that. It's Jackie Robinson in the 1955 World Series. It's the last time that happened. But enough about our heroes. This one is about 1906. This game featured 6 Hall of Famers. George Davis is one of them. The other one for the Chicago White Sox, Ed Walsh, who happened to win 2 of the games as a starting pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. Each team actually had a 3-man rotation. I want to make sure I'm not saying this incorrect. But yes, each team had a 3-man rotation. Another Hall of Famer, only this time for the Chicago Cubs, Mordecai Brown, started 3 games in the World Series. And I want to make this clear. Both teams pitched amazing in this series. Only one could win, and it was not the team that everyone thought. The Chicago Cubs had 3 pitchers in their rotation, and they had 1 reliever. Mordecai Brown, Jack Feister, and Ed Rulebach were the 3 starters. Mordecai Brown and Ed Rulebach both got 1 win, but Mordecai Brown and Jack Feister lost 2. The other one was Orville Overall. I don't know why. Anyway, he was their reliever, and he only pitched 12 innings through 6 games. The White Sox won this series 4-2. The White Sox did that with the starting pitching of Nick Altrock. Yes, that really is his name. He's a lefty. Ed Walsh, the Hall of Famer, and Doc White, the other lefty for the White Sox. Nick Altrock and Doc White went 1-1 in the series, though Doc White did get a save. Frank Owen was their main relief pitcher. Now I think it's the right time. All right, so I need to go ahead and mention the other 3 Hall of Famers for the Chicago Cubs: Frank Chance, Johnny Evers, and Joe Tinker. Now I think it's the right time to start bringing this up. The Chicago White Sox were huge underdogs in this World Series. They went 93-58 during the regular season. Today, you win 93 games, you may or may not make the playoffs. In theory, you should, especially with the expanded postseason to 5 teams. But usually, you win 93 games, you're trying to get a wild card spot. You may or may not get it. You don't expect to win the pennant. And going in, the White Sox are called the Hitless Wonders. And for the series, they only hit 198. In fact, there's a grand total of 2 games where the White Sox scored more than 3 runs. That was games 5 and 6, where they scored 8 in both of them. But going into that, it was actually the most back-and-forth World Series ever. The White Sox won Game 1. Cubs won Game 2. White Sox won Game 3. Cubs won Game 4. White Sox Game 5 and 6. Neither team hit at all in this series, and that's what makes this series so fanatical, if you will. Because the Chicago Cubs' offense during the regular season was pretty good. Their pitching was pretty good. During the regular season, they had 2 20-game winners, a 19-game winner, and an 18-game winner. As far as hitting is concerned, their team batting average was .262, which is exactly what you want for your team. They had Harry Steinfeld, yes, that was his name, hit .327, whereas the White Sox had all 0 players hit over .300 for the season. The reason I bring this up, because a record that the 1906 Chicago Cubs still hold to this day, and specifically in the National League, they were the first team to win 116 games in 1 year. The Seattle Mariners in the American League tied that record in 2001. Though the Chicago Cubs still hold the record for the highest win percentage during the season. So when you're a full 23 games better than the team you're playing in the World Series, you kind of expect to have an advantage. And the Chicago Cubs certainly had that. They had great hitters, they had great pitchers, they had the most wins of anybody, period. And then 2 years prior to that, the New York Giants wouldn't even take the field because they thought it would be an exhibition match, thinking the American League pennant winner would have been a farce to play against them. This was proof. This was the first proof that the New York Giants were wrong. That the Chicago Cubs, who were super favored, lost to probably a worse team. Either that or the American League really was that competitive. So, yeah, that Chicago Cubs team, that was really, really, really good. Another fun fact about the hitting, the White Sox won hitting 198. The Cubs hit 196 for the series. There were 0 home runs. There was 1 triple. And there were 6 doubles, 3 of which were ground rule doubles. As far as top plays go, I started off mentioning that stolen home plate because that was easily the best play, and it's not even close. It only had a 5.4% chance of actually succeeding per their crazy stat tracker doohickey. It matters that much. And frankly, I don't ever expect to see anything like that. I know it's happened in my lifetime. I think when I was doing my research, a double steal that involved taking home plate happened in 2002. I vaguely remember that World Series because I was 12 at the time. I'm not afraid of dating myself with that. But yeah, those types of plays matter. That was the first time that happened. And Patsy Doherty had another World Series first because he was the first player to win 2 World Series. He was playing for the Red Sox, or for the Boston Americans in 1903, later to be called the Red Sox. So, yeah, that matters. And frankly, this is the first truly back and forth World Series that we had. I know it was only the third one, but in 4 years, this was the first one that truly felt exciting. Because the 1903 World Series, admittedly, that was a great World Series. The Sox won the series 5-3, winning the last 4 straight. But like the year before, when the New York Giants won it, there were 5 shutouts. They won the series 4-1, and it was boring. This is exciting all the way across the board. There were 2 one-run games. Then Game 3 was a 3-0 game. Game 5 was 8-6. That's your first truly offensive outburst game where the final score mattered and both teams scored more than 6. This is one of those series I honestly kind of wish I could go back in time and watch the series because it's so much fun. This is one of those series that would actually be worth traveling backwards in time just to go see. And frankly, this one would have been even more fun because it was played on 6 consecutive days. October 9th through October 14th. Because both teams were in the same city, they didn't have to take a day off for travel. That was the first time that happened, meaning that this was the first Subway Series with the Cubs on the south side and the White Sox on the east side. Wrigley Field did not exist yet. Fenway Park did not exist yet. They each had their own ballpark, but the 2 most iconic baseball parks, the 2 oldest, did not exist yet, and would not exist until 1912 and 1914, respectively. So this actually is, when doing the research for this was easily, up to this point, the most fun thus far. Because when I did the 1903 World Series, and yes, I made this clear, the Red Sox are my team. When I did the 1903 World Series, I already knew a few things about it, so it wasn't so much, or it wasn't quite as interesting. And then the 1905 World Series was, like, I made it clear last week, that one was just boring. This one had a lot of different things in it that I didn't know happened. I knew that the White Sox won, and that is the first of their only 3 in team history. No, I'm not making that up. The White Sox have won 3. The Cubs have won 3. This is the one time that they squared off. So, yeah, this one was really, really fun to research. And when I grew up, I actually thought that the Cubs won this World Series. Because when I was 11, when the Mariners set the record in the American League, I always heard about how the Cubs won 116 in 1906. And no one told me that they didn't win the World Series that year, so I thought that they won it. When I did my research, I found out that the White Sox won. Now, I found that out a long time ago, but I didn't know anything about it. So this one was genuinely fun to look at, and I definitely look forward to finding out. Or this is why I do this. This is why I do these episodes. I like to find out new things that I didn't know before. So this is just really, really cool. And I hope next week, when I do the 1907 World Series, that I find out just as much. If you want to look it up, and find out ahead of time who it was that won it, by all means. But if not, I'm not going to spoil it for you. And if you have any other comments, you want me to dig in a little bit more, or you just happen to know something about it that I don't, leave your comments down below. Or if you're listening to my podcast at Adamo Baseball, you can come over to my YouTube channel and leave the comments down below. Or you can let me know on Twitter, Adamo Baseball. With that being said, thank you for listening and watching. Cheers until next time.